Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We are continuing to read teachings of Lord Chaitanya by Srila Prabhupada. So we'll continue reading here. By these symptoms alone, one can be understood to be elevated to the topmost position of devotional service. And it is with such transcendental loving service alone that one can surpass the influence of Maya and can relish pure love of Godhead. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We are continuing to read teachings of Lord Chaitanya by Srila Prabhupada. So we'll continue reading here. By these symptoms alone, one can be understood to be elevated to the topmost position of devotional service. And it is with such transcendental loving service alone that one can surpass the influence of Maya and can relish pure love of Godhead. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We are continuing to read.
Can you mute YouTube?
I just muted it. Sorry about that.
Okay, there are 3 stages of devotional service. The first stage is called the beginner's cultivation stage. The second is called the realization of the service. And the third, the supreme stage, is called attainment of love of Godhead. There are 9 different methods of cultivating devotional service, such as hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. All these processes are employed in the neophyte stage of cultivation. If one is engaged in the matter of chanting and hearing with devotion and faith, then gradually his material misgivings become vanquished. Gradually, his faith in devotional service increases more and more, and such stages assure him a higher perfectional position. Thus, one becomes firmly fixed, increases the taste for it, becomes attached to it, and feels an ecstasy, which is called the preliminary stage of love of Godhead. Attainment of ecstasy is produced by execution of the cultivation of devotional service. Such attainment, when still more developed by that same process of hearing and chanting, gradually becomes thickened, and it assumes the name of love of Godhead. In the stage of transcendental love of God, there are further developments which are known as transcendental affection, emotion, ecstasy, and extreme intense attachment. These are technically known as raga, anuraga, bhava, and mahabhava. These are technical terms. The process is exemplified by the gradual thickness of sugar candy juice. Sugar candy juice in the first stage is liquid, and when evaporation, it becomes thicker and thicker. It becomes molasses, then granules, then sugar, then rock candy, and so on. These are different stages of the liquid sugar juice, and similarly, there are different stages of the development of transcendental love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one is situated on the transcendental platform, that stage is called steady. Unless one is situated on the transcendental platform, the practice or love of Godhead cannot be steady. One may fall down, but when one is situated on the transcendental platform, he becomes steady and there is no fear of falling down. This stage of understanding is technically called Sthai Bhav. There are still further developments stepping forward from the position of Sthai Bhav, and these are called Vibhav, Anubhav, Satvik, and Vyabhichari. When these 4 ingredients are added to the steadfast position of pure transcendental life, that is called exchange of rasa or transcendental flavor. This exchange of loving reciprocation between the lover and the beloved is generally called Krishna Bhakti Rasa, the transcendental taste of exchanging loving sentiments between the devotee and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But we must know that this development of the transcendental loving exchange of flavors stands on the steadfast position of Sthai Bhav, as explained before. The basic principle of Vibhav is Sthai Bhav, and the other activities are auxiliary assistance for the development of transcendental love. The ecstasy of transcendental love has 2 components, the context and the cause of the excitement. The context is also divided into 2 parts, the subject and the object. The exchange of devotional service is the subject and Krishna is the object. The transcendental qualities of Krishna are the causes of excitement. That means that a devotee becomes excited to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, being enamored by the transcendental qualities of Krishna. The Mayavadi philosophers say that the absolute truth is without specific qualities. The Vaishnava philosophers say that being without qualities, nirguna, means that the absolute truth has no material qualities, but that the spiritual qualities are so great and so enchanting that ever liberated persons become attracted by the Supreme Lord. This fact is very nicely explained in the Atmarama verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Those who are already situated in self-realization are also attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna. That means Krishna's qualities are not material, they are pure and simply transcendental qualities. The highest stage of ecstasy can be divided into 13 transcendental activities, which are as follows: dancing, rolling on the floor, singing, clapping, bristling of the body, thundering, yawning, breathing, forgetting social conventions, throwing down saliva, laughing, headache, coughing. All these 13 symptoms do not awake simultaneously at one time, but they act according to the exchange of transcendental flavor. Sometimes one symptom is prominent and at other times the other symptom is prominent. Transcendental flavor is also divided into 5, principally persons who are liberated from the material contamination, but not exactly engaged in transcendental loving service, called the initial stage, Shantarati, appreciation of the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are on the appreciative neutral stage. The second stage is when a person appreciates that he is everlastingly subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is everlastingly dependent on the causeless mercy of the Supreme Person. At that time, there is an awakening of natural affection as a grown-up son becomes attracted with the father's benediction. At that stage, a living entity wants to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead instead of being engaged in the service of Maya, illusion. This stage is called Dasharati. I feel that, Nikki, didn't we read all this already? Or is this a repeat?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we actually did read this.
we have read all of that. Yeah, anyways, it's okay. Just to summarize, I can just tell you, right, that
Mm.
the important message that's being shared over here is that we all have an eternal position, that is the sthai bhav. That is really where it all starts. And then based on that, then one develops different relationship with God. It could be the relationship with servantership, which is first is the neutral relationship. Then second is dasya, which is the servitude. And then comes the higher stage, which is the sakyaras. And then there is a Vatsalya Ras, where again, there is one more additional quality that gets added. And then the topmost is the Madhurya Ras. In that, it is completely like all of the qualities are already there. And one is completely in relation with that highest, topmost relationship. But again, as it is explained, that it all starts with the Sthai Bhav. And that is our neutral position, right? That's the position that we are in when we start with the devotional service. With that, I'd like to continue chanting. Let's go and continue chanting now.